I always knew I wanted to do something that would make like a difference in the world. In Mrs. Docterman's class, like I felt like I belonged and like I finally had a teacher that took the time to get to know me.
Docterman helped me realize the potential that my voice had, and
I love Mrs. Docterman.
Hi, I'm Carrie Docterman King.
How long have you been teaching?
This is my 31st year at Rogers. I really thought I'd be a middle school teacher. Where I started student teaching was actually at Gary Middle School. I wanted to do middle school because I thought with history, kids either love it or they hate it. And I thought that if they're in 7th, 8th grade, their minds haven't been warped to say how much they hate it. One of my mentors who helped me also realize I wanted to be a teacher, his name was Tom Brown. He was also a social studies teacher. And I got to teach with him, and my experience with him, he just kind of let me do what I needed to do. He wasn't in the classroom with me. He would leave and I'd have to figure out the answer. I think it made me become a pretty good teacher as a result of that, because I was like, I don't know, but we can figure it out. And that's part of being an educator is letting students know that you don't always have to be knowledgeable on everything, but hey, we can be resourceful and figure out how to do this. So that's kind of who I became, I guess. Yeah.
we're in our breaking points right now.
I think we're learning a lot and doing a lot right now. And I think for me, like being in the classroom has been like probably my biggest stretch, because I'm like really having to put myself out there and like reassure myself like it's okay, we can do this. Like they're 15, they're terrifying, but they're only 15.
I think right now we're in like the true thick of learning and teaching at the same time, which is the best part. We're learning what we're supposed to be teaching them the night before, because we don't know the curriculum. I'm teaching my lesson and I have to look like I know everything in front of these kids to not only keep them engaged, but make sure that it's meaningful to them and that they're actually learning. And so it's super hard. You really have to look within yourself to be like, okay, I'm 4 years into my education program. What have I learned? How do I know how to approach the situation? I'm also 4 years into my English degree. What do I know I need to teach them? What's the most important? But you're also like really getting to learn how to teach. This is the like really fun part that we're in.
What people don't realize is that teachers, especially when you're younger, you're still going to school. You still have to get a certain amount of credits or hours of training or whatever it might be. So you don't have enough time during the day to plan your lessons, to grade your papers. You're going home dealing with if there was something that happened in your classroom or one of your kids is going through something, you take that to heart. And so you also have your own families. And so there's a lot that people don't realize that teachers have to put up with, or teachers take home with them, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I've worked in the mall. This is my 5th year working in the mall. So I started at American Eagle, and then this summer going into my sophomore year of college, I came over here, and my boss Abby has been like so flexible. She's like, oh, you need to take the weekend off to write your paper? Great, sounds good. And then you want to work 40 hours this week? Great, let's do it. So she just gives me pretty much whatever I need, which is great. During holiday, they use me a ton. So I work pretty much full time during Christmas, which is great. I get a lot of money, it's wonderful, but she's super accommodating, like letting me coach and stuff. That was the biggest thing for me. That's actually why I ended up with a new job, so.
What do you predict for Gabby and Olivia's teaching futures?
I keep telling them, are you serious? You want to do it? No, I'm kidding. You got to do it for the right reasons. As a young person, especially with, like with Gabby's charisma, I mean, she could probably go somewhere else and make more money right away. You have to have the passion for the students. You have to have the passion for what you do. You got to know that you're going to have ups and downs, and that you can't always fix everybody. And you go home sometimes and you're like, man, I really wish I could have done this differently. I say that in a hard way, because you look at the newspaper and you see that one of your former students died, or they're in jail or something like that. And it's like, man, what if I could have done it? And you do all this what ifs, and you can't play the what if game all the time. You have to remind yourself, which I have to still do at this age, that you do what you can do. and you hope that it's enough. Yeah.
Started doing your revisions.
I met with him yesterday. He said it was pretty good. I just obviously need to proofread it.
Yeah.
And then, I need to add some stuff to it. But other than that, it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
But
well, there's no way it's not gonna get done,
Yeah.
That's one of the things is senior year, you just gotta plow.
Who is supporting you?
Mentor teachers, each other. We've talked about leaning on each other. It hasn't stopped, even though we don't live together.
They're so excited to see student teachers.
Yeah, the whole school that we're in. I mean, they love student teachers because I think as educators, it's exciting to see young passion, still wanting to come into the field. Because right now sometimes it's hard to find good teachers.
Having student teachers, or even just our younger teachers, that's the thing, is you need to be there for them. They need to see that the old people, which I am now, are here to support you in whatever way we can. And that's how you become a better teacher. That's how you learn.
It's also cool to see that the students want to support you. The students want to also help us succeed, which is
The kids really do. When you need them to do what they're supposed to do, they do it.
They do. Yeah, and it's also not just NC. I mean, I obviously am in Rogers more often than Olivia, just coaching. And, but it's every time somebody who knows us stops and is how's school going? They want to know how we're doing. They want to know that we're succeeding. They are super invested in our journey in becoming teachers, which is super nice to know that our community, not only are we devoting ourselves to our community, but our community is also devoted to us.
Okay, so there's been 4 games since we last talked. We had 2 over the last 2 days. We played Medical Lake on Monday and East Valley yesterday, both home games. We did lose both of them still, but it was 2 of the best games I've watched the girls play. They fought for every single point. We took a set last night to 24-26, and they're really showing that they are gaining the faith and belief in themselves that's needed to win games, which has been great. So one of the things that we harp on as coaches the most is we can't gain points if we don't put our serves in the court. We correlate that into their conditioning for the practice following a game. So they run 2 lines for every missed serve and 3 lines for every missed first serve.
Ready? Wipe it on the ground. Go! Count them out, don't lose track. Keep it up, ladies. Good work, good work, good work. Keep it up, keep it up. Good work, good work. Work hard when you're tired, work hard when you're tired. Just grab your waters, and then we're gonna meet over here for plus delta, okay? Grab waters. Okay, let's see. Dig leader, drum roll please. Taylor. Taylor, you had 13 on Monday. Great job, great job. Kills. Sophia. Sophia, you had 4. Great job, great job. Aces. Ray. Ray, you had 3. Great job, great job. Love it. Blocks. Sophia. You had 3. Yeah. This girl checks me on the stats like almost every single time. It's so easy to be like, we've lost. Like, I don't care about really what I'm doing with this. And seeing you like go up, actually think about thumb up, thumb down. Where can I put this ball? Gabby, where's an open spot on the court? Continue to give me a spot so I can serve it. Like the willingness to continue to be intentional. I mean, it's bound to happen. We're gonna slip every once in a while. Like the energy's gonna slip. We're gonna get caught in a rut. The ebbs are gonna, overtake us. But you guys do always somehow find a way to try and fight that. It's easier some days than it is others. And I think last night and even the day before, you guys' resilience, there was ebbs for sure. Gracie, yes! Gracie, you're late on your takeoff. Blocks are beautiful. Take off quicker, okay? You got it.
We attend at least one sporting event if we can, of each of the kids. Go to the plays, whatever it might be. I think that anytime they can see an adult who cares about them, but also who helps them with those opportunities.
Good, let's go. Gosh, good. Hey, she's an incredible passer. Hey, she's a great hitter. You're doing everything you can. Stop it. Okay? I know, she's aggressive with me. It's all right.
So as soon as they kind of open up to you, or you kind of push them to open up to you, you can start kind of pushing them in the right direction.
Doc inspired me. Her work and her students and how deeply she cared for her students. I think that's what inspired me. My senior year, we had like a dress like a teacher day. I dressed like Mrs. Docterman.
Tell me about the first day you met Olivia Bell.
Olivia was, this sounds horrible, she was mousy. I would tell her this. So she reminded me of like a little mouse. Did her job, did everything, but she was very reserved, very scared, rarely spoke up.
Especially my freshman year, I was really shy. I remember like walking into her classroom for the first time. I was like, "Are you Mrs. Docterman?" Like I have my class office paperwork, and it was really awkward. Oh, I loved her classroom, and I wish my classroom could ever be that decorated. Mrs. Docterman was my favorite teacher I ever had. She makes her students feel seen. Like, you can tell her something one time, and she'll probably, within the school year, she'll was like, "Oh, well, how did this thing turn out?" Social emotional learning is a big thing, especially post-COVID. But I mean, that was Doc before it was the big thing.
We always did public speaking. And the first time I do remember she got up and she had, because she's always very prepared. And so she had a big stack with a whole thing. Her speech was written, and I remember her sitting there on a podium, like my podium, and she was just reading it. I'm like, no. You can look at it, but you have to try it. And I thought she was gonna start crying.
She would kind of tell me how it was. Always encouraging, but she was also like honest with me. And that's just good teaching.
Her tick used to be she'd play with her hair.
I wore my hair down. My hair was really long and really thick back then. It's still long, it's just not as thick because it all broke off. But she was like, "You need to wear your hair up next time." I was like, okay. So now I always wear it up because I'll mess with it.
When we'd do public speaking in high school, we'd braid her hair back.
Yeah. When my freshman year, when we did now I'm gonna do it.
Luckily, the kids in the class were encouraging. She tried it again, and she just kept getting better.
I kind of grew into myself in her leadership class because it was a space that I felt very comfortable in. She was supposed to be done with leadership when her daughter graduated high school. It just wasn't time for her to leave yet. She stayed because she still had kids that she hadn't invested into and wasn't ready to let go of yet. And then there was COVID.
I worked my butt off during the pandemic. We had to learn everything. No one trained us how to use Teams. No one trained us how to share our screens. And the hardest thing in our district was we couldn't require the kids to put their cameras on. And I understood that because there were several things that happened. Sometimes they were in a bed, their dogs were licking their faces. It was just very strange, but it was really hard in your regular classes because you literally were talking to, a lot of times, a black screen.
My classmates never had their cameras on, so my like student identity was lost. Our sports were a joke. I mean, like, COVID ruined that because we were practicing in March when we would usually be playing in the fall, so we went the whole fall without seeing each other, and like I was missing community.
Gabby kind of stayed away from leadership, and I never understood why. I'd had her brothers. I knew her when she was little. She had been here as Mr. Rogers. She was the escort for her brothers.
I kind of like went into high school with a narrative painted about myself, I think. I wasn't Gabby, I was the Harkness's little sister, was like how people referred to me. Or just Harkness, which I kind of ate up. Like I was like, yep, like so proud to be a Harkness because I totally am, and like having my brothers as my brothers, they're such mentors to me and I love them so dearly. But I kind of just, instead of trying to become my own person, I kind of just succumbed to that. I think COVID is what really made it shift for me. Like I lost my community in both of those areas of being a student and an athlete. But I would see, like Olivia and the entire ASB group have dinner with Docterman and all of her golden retrievers. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that looks like so much fun.
When we took off the masks, there were kids I didn't even know that's what they looked like because all you saw was from here to here. A lot of people didn't want to leave home. That was really hard too because nobody wanted to talk. Kids just kind of lost the idea of helping others.
We ended up having a lot of new class officers that year, so I kind of took the lead in showing them like, well, this is how this works. No one wanted to do leadership. No one wanted to do ASB, I should say. We had officers everywhere else.
I used to have a full group of kids that always wanted to be involved and do things, and saw that helping others was important. And I think the pandemic really hurt that.
People didn't want to be involved in leadership. I did. I wanted to step up. I wanted to do my part, maybe even plus some. I wouldn't want to see the downfall of it, my senior year when it's something that's meant so much to me. I don't want to see it fall apart and be a mess. So I had to step up.
I encouraged Olivia to tell her friend she needs to do leadership. And that's because a lot of kids weren't necessarily wanting to run for ASB. She needs to be involved in ASB.
And I had asked her, and she had come and talked to Doc, and she did.
And I was like, 0 hour? Like, I'm hard pressed to lose sleep.
I almost quit leadership because I just couldn't deal with getting up early. I got over that, and I'm so glad I did.
It became really hard to get students sometimes, or even adults in general, to get motivated. Maybe it's because they needed help, and maybe they didn't feel like they got the help, or they didn't have that the opportunity to see that, hey, this is something we could do that's really good. But I also think that people don't really see civic engagement as important. Like, they can't make a difference because they don't see it immediately. And we have to get past that.
We did elections.
We still had to campaign. And I remember our posters very distinctly. Mine was a Wonder Woman banner, and it said wonder who's best for president, and it was vote Gabby Harkness on the bottom. And Olivia's was, she made a 3D pencil that was 3 feet long, and painted a lined sheet of paper, and it said, take note of the best vote, vote Olivia Bell for vice president.
So the year started, we had me, Gabby, Emma, and then our treasurer. And we should have had 6 people in ASB. We didn't have a secretary, no one ran for secretary. So when you're the vice president, you would kind of assume the roles that aren't filled. I had 3 jobs that year. So I was the vice president, I was the secretary, and I was the treasurer. So I was very busy. If Gabby wasn't there, I fill in for Gabby. We would just split up the work as it needed to be done. And make sure things were getting done.
She started coming to her own. I really saw that more probably her junior year, where she would speak up more in class. She had a tendency to sometimes be a little harsh when she'd say things that, I don't want to say not with tact, but she just flat out would say it.
And number 4, Mr. Treasurer wasn't coming to school. The dude. So we lost our he just didn't come to school. You need to come to school when you're an ASB officer, and you need to come to class.
So you always knew how she felt, if that makes sense. And she was willing to say it to certain people. She definitely grew, and I think that she just became more confident.
I was pretty much the only person who had stayed in class office and stayed in leadership all 4 years.
I knew that she cared about what happened in the community. Mm-hmm.
How could you tell?
Action.
For many years, Rogers was without a spirit game. When the GSL expanded to a 2A, 3A, 4A format, and Cheney became part of the GSL, they were also looking for someone to have a spirit game against.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Spoke with their AD, and we decided to make it happen. And then we pretty much just turned it over to our leadership teams and said, hey, what should we call this? They did a great job of finding a tie between Hilliard and Cheney, which is the railway system. We were both at one time thriving rail systems. So yeah, that's where the name the Railroad Rumble came from.
We decided we were gonna do it my freshman year. We were gonna do it sophomore year, and then there was COVID. Senior year, here's the spirit game we've been talking about. And honestly, I was like, spirit game, I forgot about that.
The hardest thing was we had no idea how to run one. We hadn't had one in over 10 years. The odds were so stacked against us that year.
Yes, we had to do a lot of polling and trying really hard to get people to be involved.
It was really hard to make people realize it's okay if you always give up, and that's what I see a lot more of that, is people just give up because they don't know how to cope or they don't know how to handle a hard situation. Failure's good. If we don't fail, we never learn.
Like we had some high points, we had some pretty low points during both of those games, but the like general high of both of the games and how you played through it, I think is just my overall plus. Like there wasn't anything I could pinpoint that was like, that was it. It was just like, I was so proud of your guys' overall performance doing 2 games back to back.
Come on, Gracie, let's go.
Taylor, give us some truth.
Every day. Taylor.
I literally speak so little on mindset because last year I had the worst mindset, if you knew me on the team last year. And the only reason that I can go home after games this season is just like my mindset. I play so much worse with a bad mindset, and everybody else says the exact same thing on the team. And every time you guys have a good mindset, it is so much fun to play. It is so much fun to play. And we all realize it. It's just really hard to take in that information sometimes. Even with me, like sometimes I get a little bit down on myself. But it's just your head. Like that's it. That's the number one thing in volleyball. It's not your skill. It's not your attitude. It's your head and how you can play through it. Like that is the only.
That's probably the thing that's been the worst, is that it's taken a long time for the students to start communicating again. And it wasn't until we made them put their phones away. Now that we have a district policy, thank goodness, they can't have their cell phones. They actually are starting to talk to each other. And that's communication is, the key to success, really. You got to be able to know how to communicate with people.
Taylor's attitude has taken an entire 180 switch from last season. Like truly. And like, I love Taylor. Like at my core, I love every single one of you. Taylor's attitude this season is a complete shift from how she was last season. And her playing has also taken the exact same shift. Like she is double digits in digs every single game, regardless of what's happening after that. Like she's like, I want to get this ball and I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. And she's doing so well because of it. Like perfect image of what we want for every single one of you. That's the energy we need. We need all of you to be like, I'm so happy to be here. I don't really care what happens because I'm here and I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the 25 points I get to be in this set, Celebrating those moments, like literally exactly what you said. Your mindset is how you succeed.
Get in.
I wish it wouldn't have been coming out of COVID. I wish I could have had more normal experiences with leadership. I worked with Mrs. Docterman a lot that year. I was Doc's TA, so I was always kind of in the know about what was going on. I was in her classroom like at least 3 periods a day. So like if I had something to say, I would say it. And Mrs. Docterman always told us, your roles don't matter.
Being an ASB is what mattered, and doing it together mattered more. You would think we're like the only ones doing stuff because we were ASB. There was all the freshman officers, all the sophomore officers, all the junior officers, and then people who were just interested in leadership. So there was like 25 people just had their hands and feet in everything at the school, and we were so close. Like that class had a relationship unlike anything I've ever seen, because we all came out of COVID just craving relationship with people again, and we were the ones who first came back.
I was at the school a lot during winter break.
We were planning, we were running, we were doing. Being in all of that was what was so exciting to me. That was the most taxing, exhausting, worthwhile thing I think we did.
And they were a great team. We had to do a spirit game coming out of COVID, and we won. It was exciting, and that was really hard to do because there's a lot of work that goes into those, and they divvied up things, and it turned out to be a really good partnership. Yeah.
Tell me about what you thought Olivia would end up being, who she was.
I figured she was going to go into teaching. I had a good enough relationship with Olivia to know that she loved history.
I think it's important to know history because it teaches you skills of like critical thinking, and it teaches you how to decipher between what's good information, what's bad information. History also really focuses on like critically analyzing texts, and that's important to do in an era where, you can ask ChatGPT to do something for you, and you're not actually soaking something in for yourself. We live in a world that's so divided, and really so scary right now.
I didn't know that she would necessarily go into secondary. I thought maybe she would go into more of a middle school. Secondary
teachers really are scholars of their disciplines. Mm-hmm. Like we have degrees, not in education, but in English and history.
Yeah.
She didn't need that instant gratification. If we had community service stuff, she was always willing to do it.
I really do think like teaching these skills and going back to my community and like, you know, providing my knowledge that I've learned here to them can help them to like take the next step and to become good citizens of society.
I don't do leadership anymore. I was ASB advisor for 27 years, which is a really long time to do that job. I loved it, and I do miss it. I miss certain parts of it for sure. It was time for me to step down and give someone else the opportunity to do it. Definitely have a lot of kids asking, why aren't you doing it? Especially the first 2 years that I stepped away. They were not very happy with me, but I tried to give them warnings that I was going to do it. Unfortunately, COVID came, didn't feel right to leave during that time, and then I gave them time to know. It was a really hard decision, but probably the best for me personally to do, but I do miss it.
What year did you officially leave?
So it would have been 4 years ago, so I can't remember the exact year.
Your last year?
Was it your last year? Yeah. Yeah, okay, 2022.
4:14. I gotta go. Today went really well, actually. Energy was like wonderful. The girls actually seemed really invested in the things that we were doing. Energy, I mean, like you could tell that during that beginning of practice, it was kind of sad. You know, they could really tell that the last few days have really weighed on them in terms of not actually pulling off a win. But they really turned it around. We got through some really tough stuff. I mean, doing drills like that is never fun. Starting practice with conditioning and not really doing a lot of like, we call them our vegetable drills, having to do our vegetable drills and not being able to play fun volleyball type drills is pretty hard coming off of 2 losses, but they handled it really well. And those are things that are gonna make them more successful. So I'm really happy overall with how practice went today. And I'm really excited to see how they implement those changes that we made today in tomorrow's game. I'm just so proud of you guys. I leave every practice being just like incredibly thankful to be your coach and to be a part of your guys' lives in this part of your life. And like the things that you guys face and the way that you face them with grace and like willingness to overcome is inspiring. And I've been through this I've been through this time of my life already, and like it still just inspires me every single day. And it makes me leave practice a better person. So I'm just incredibly proud. And regardless of what happens going forward in the season, I just want you to know that like in this point right now, I'm so thankful and I'm so proud of you.
They've described you as
I'm scared.
an inspiration, oftentimes a mentor, oftentimes the reason that they want to be teachers. What do you think of that?
It's humbling. Yeah. Can get teary-eyed. It means a lot. It really does. I think, it's humbling because, you know, you work really hard and sometimes you forget that you might make a difference. And so when you hear that, it's pretty nice. Now I'm gonna cry. You better cut this out.
I'm crying too. It's okay. Okay, dog.
I think it's because sometimes you just feel like, gosh, did I do anything?
I'm in the process of finishing my last novel for my thesis class. And as soon as we finish that, we start writing. So next week is the last week of reading. And then for the next month, I'm writing my thesis. And the rest of my classes are really picking up. So I'm like, I'm just trying to like stay in my seat because I'm getting whiplash a little bit.
A full sentence outline is due next Monday, so tonight that's gonna be my big thing I work on. I'm gonna have to start writing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough couple weeks.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna write on something to do with the House of Mirth and just like the alienation of women in the early 20th century. Just because it's something I've focused a lot on, primarily in like the Romantic era, so 19th century. But I'm not 100% nailed down on my topic yet.
My thesis is like what I was talking about before still. 2 women of the English Reformation. They each got executed. One's Catholic, one's Protestant. Very controversial back then, let me say, during the 1500s in England. But yeah, I'm excited to start writing. It's really interesting.
I assumed I made an impact on Gabby and Olivia just because I had such a good, strong, close relationship with them. Never like, hey, we're friends. We're not friends. I mean, we can be now, but in high school, they weren't my friend. I knew the line. I knew, I was hoping that I was mentoring them and maybe encouraging them to become the people that they are, and I can go back to my first few years of teaching. I mean, I got kids that are in their, if you think about it, they're in their 40s, and I still have Christmas cards that they send me of their families, and that's pretty cool. So it's nice to know that you have made some sort of an impact, because you just don't hear it enough sometimes. Sometimes, the negative always has a tendency to get to you more than you go, oh, that positive, So it means a lot, yeah. I think you have to have people that work at Rogers that understand the community. And I say that, for example, when I do get student teachers, one of the first things I do is I make them go on I call it the walkabout, but we go on a drive and we go through all the different areas where our students live. Here's Dogtown, here's Minnehaha, here's Friendship Park, which isn't much anymore because a lot of those. Here is Morgan Acres. I want them to see where your students come from. I grew up here. I understand it. I understand the community is extremely supportive of each other for the most part. I know that if you understand where your kids are coming from, you're going to be able to connect with them. And as long as we at Rogers continue to push the idea of personal relationships in a positive way and in an appropriate way, but that we always show that we care. I think that is the key. And I think that most staff that are here, I mean, we have one of the largest returning alumni staff of any school in the area, who have chosen to come back and to stay here. And there's a reason for that. It's not because it's easy, because it's not. It's because we know that the kids can do more. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your social status is. If we can help you with the resources and get you there, you can be extremely successful. And hopefully you'll want to come back and continue to show other people that you can do the same thing, can do the same thing. Rogers is not a bad school. Rogers is a fantastic school. It's not just the staff, but I do think that the students, for the most part, are understanding that you're just like me.
We were going into a game that we knew we could put points up against them, and I think it was just all pretty overwhelming. But we all walked into the gym, and you could feel the energy, and the crowd was there. There was people supporting us regardless of our season record, and it was just a lot.